We're here.
We're so back.
TDI quick hitter. We got to make sure we deliver the biggest news story of the week. We had our Invincible pod that dropped. Go check it out. The season 2 finale reactions. Ricky Flex and Dr. O have come on for this segment, and we're going to talk about some Marvel castings, Fantastic Four castings. What else is new, Ricky Flex? Before we get to this, what do you think about the name Quick Hitters, TDI Quick Hitters? How I was thinking the Drive-Thru because it's an express version.
That's good. The Drive-Thru.
The Drive-Thru express, right? We're getting our coffee and then we're going, right? This is for the people on the short commute to work, the Drive-Thru. I love that, Ricky Flex. Let's stick with it. But Julia Gardner has been cast as a female Silver Surfer in the upcoming Fantastic Four film for the MCU. Ricky Flex, people are mad. There's no other way to say it. People are upset. And I can't say I didn't see it coming once they made this announcement. We have Julia Gardner playing a female version of the Silver Surfer that is canon to the comics, but traditionally we know, right, Norman Rad as the Silver Surfer, for example, seen in Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer back in 2007. So, Ricky Flex, let's get your instant reactions. Are you as upset as the Marvel faithful with this casting?
No, not at all. Clearly, what Marvel's doing here is that they're trying to get away from the previous 2 Fantastic Four movies, the Fox-verse type of Fantastic Four. That's fine. They've clearly outlined that. They have a 1960s Fantastic Four, Fantastic Four that will pay homage to the comics. Literally, the first comic they showed the 4 comics that you might want to read or that they're alluding to throughout the movie or referring to throughout the movie. The first one, Fantastic Four, 1961. The freaking Silver Surfer and female Silver Surfer comic, which was also in the 60s. I think it was issue number 4 or something. It also had Galactus in it, who is also going to be the villain in this movie. Just because there's a female Silver Surfer doesn't mean there's not going to be a male Silver Surfer. We say too. So, will the male Silver Surfer? What's his name? Norman Rad.
Norman
Rad.
Norman
Thank
Rad.
you.
Rad boy.
Like, again, love interest to the female Silver Surfer, as you could predict. Could see him in the future along with Galactus. Maybe Galactus and female Silver Surfer are in this movie, and Norman Rad is in the next or whatever feature of Galactus / Fantastic Four. But maybe we do get him here and we get a casting coming out sooner than later. But yes, people were way too aggressive with this news, and I really, really, really didn't like it. And we didn't even get to the part that I think it's a great casting.
Ricky, we'll get to like the Julia Gardner aspect. But I want to
exciting
get
casting, I should say. Exciting.
Yeah, very talented actress, right? Is very known for playing Ruth Langmore on Ozark, right? 2-time Emmy winner, and then got nominated for Inventing Anna, right? A little while later. In terms of people being upset, so that she's playing a version of this character known as Shala Bal, right? Love interest to Norman Rad. There's some iconic type of images that have been surfacing, right, from the comic books you see on social media, them together riding on surfboard. Looks really cool, okay? But this goes into, we have a female version before the male version. You have people calling the MCU woke. People are saying the MCU, all that type of jazz, Ricky Flex. And I will say, I think they should have cast the male one first. Bob Iger's on the defense right now. He's saying, you don't even know what woke is, MCU fans, MCU audiences, right? You know what woke is before you just claim that the MCU is going more towards representation, which Bob Iger has famously said he wants his products to be more entertaining more than providing representation, right? He wants good products, right? So it's kind of interesting he's coming on the defense of this casting. I think they had a great opportunity to do what Fox couldn't do, is create a great project with a male Silver Surfer, right? And what fans want is that male version that is more popular, right? You're giving us the JV version of Silver Surfer just based on notoriety and popularity before the male version. And we saw Rise of the Silver Surfer, not a good movie, but how cool does the Silver Surfer look, right? What's interesting, you know what would have really got people upset? You ready for this? What would have made Marvel fans absolutely go full on rip torn and inside out, right? Fire volcano coming out of the head is if someone was cast and they said that the Silver Surfer will not identify as a male or female. Imagine if that happened, Ricky Flex. Can you imagine? Because
I haven't seen that.
No, it's not going to happen. I'm saying imagine if that happened. Not only is it not male or female, it goes gender neutral. Because when you look at the Silver Surfer in 2007, Rise of the Silver Surfer, he's like naked and has no junk. It's just another being, you know? So that they could have gone total woke and done that. They will not. So I'm just saying they had a chance to make a good project with the male version, one that everybody knows. And guess what? We're not getting that. Julia Gardner, she doesn't exactly look like a superhero, bro. Right? So I like that they're going for talent, right? People that have accolades and have a little bit of prestige upon them. Julia Gardner's young, exciting actors. That's cool. But when I look at her, I'm not like, that's a specimen. That's someone that plays the Silver Surfer. When I think of the Silver Surfer, I'm thinking about someone that's like, he's like a skinnier, more ripped version of like a Dr. Manhattan. Right? That's kind of what you think of, right? You think of the perfect specimen. Julia Gardner, right? Some may say pretty, right? I don't think she's a physical specimen.
Ruth Langmore.
And when I think about her, I'm going to see her, and I just think of the Ruth Langmore scratchy voice and her bitching out Jason Bateman and Laura Linney all the time.
If you want to stop me, you're going to have to fucking kill me!
So it's an interesting casting. They went female first. I just think there's a bunch of question marks around it because it kind of is they're making a decision that they know fans won't like. That's kind of my beef with it.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a step back because I think you hit every single nail on the head. Julia Gardner, breakout role, Ozark. You mentioned Inventing Anna. Like, she's a great actress. The assistant showing her acting skills there on a dramatic level. On the big screen, not exactly a box office hit, but clearly a great performance. And she's going to be in Wolfman, Christopher Abbott, which again, Goss God was linked with that. So, and she's only 30 years old, so another younger type of person bringing into the MCU. So it's exciting. But is it a great casting? No. But nobody's talking about that. They're only talking about how it's a female surfer, and this is on the back of Bob Iger and Disney Investor Day or whatever, saying, we're not woke, or you don't know what woke is, to your audience, which determines what you are, basically, because at the end of the day, they're the ones paying for this, right? We're the ones clamoring for a Fantastic Four movie. We haven't had one since, for God's sakes, Marvel's First Family. It's going to be almost 20 years. And the fact that it was bold. I don't care that they announced a female Silver Surfer over a male. I don't. As long as it's good. I'm just worried it's not going to be good. That's what I'm nervous about. I think people are overblowing like this news, and they should be focusing on, is this actually going to be good? I'm nervous now again. I like pre-casting. I was nervous. Fantastic Four, all the directing changes, John Watts, the Matt Shackman, all the different casting rumors. Adam Driver didn't want it. Margot Robbie didn't want it. All these other actors didn't want it, and then they finally settled on all these other people. And then we have this. I am again on the fence to Fantastic Four, as in, will it be even good?
So it is a talented actress. She's young. She can grow in the role, and I think there will be a male Silver Surfer, right? I do think that's going to happen. But what's interesting here is that by having the Silver Surfer, you pretty much guarantee that Galactus is going to be the villain of this movie as well. And you talk about question marks on this movie. Javier Bardem has not signed on to be Galactus. That seems like the missing piece of the puzzle here. Who's going to be Galactus?
Did you hear his quotes earlier this week?
No. Oh, him talking about Dune Part 2 and Little Mermaid?
Yes.
Yeah, I did hear that. So go ahead.
So yeah, he did Little Mermaid for his daughter. He did Dune for his son, and he did both of them for the money. So I think the problem here is that he doesn't want to do it.
He needs another kid.
Big time actors, but he's saying, "Pay me and I'll do it." I think he's waiting for a big paycheck.
Oh no, he's gonna get a big paycheck, right? It's
he wants bigger because it's his name.
The rumor has been that they're trying to work around his schedule, That's like what the thing has been said frequently. It's always been, we want to get Javier Bardem. My question is, does he have a third kid who is a huge MCU fan? Right? Maybe one's for the daughter, one's for the son. This one's for the family. Marvel's first family, But what's interesting, some people are saying this movie is going to take place inside of a separate universe than the MCU. And then by the end of the movie, this group of the Fantastic Four will be somehow transported to, 616 or whatever planet, whatever Earth the MCU is, whatever universe that's taking place. So some people are saying that's where you're going to have a male Silver Surfer, and this is where you're only going to have Julia Gardner for potentially this movie. But she's a young, exciting actress. If she's a hit, they plan on bringing her back. But I think there's a potential, if this doesn't work, if people are upset, you can kind of say, we don't want to bring her back, I did also, I wanted to say before, I send it back over to you. It's kind of fascinating how Marvel in this movie, they went from the safest casting of all time with Reed Richards, is going to be played by Pedro Pascal, like the most no duh in a blockbuster project in a superhero movie type of casting ever, to the most daring casting, and I don't know how long, for the MCU. Now, I just find that's really interesting when you look at the casting for this film.
Yeah, my last comment on this is that you refer to it is this. I think the rumor on the street is that this is a variant world, and they'll somehow bring it into Earth 616 or whatever, the MCU Earth. I don't think so. My hot take is that I think this is going to be actually just a flashback movie. And so somehow maybe brought back, I don't know, but this is why. I recently was watching Multiverse of Madness on cable. I think it was FX or TNT. And Doctor Strange, when he's faced in front of the Illuminati and John Krasinski's up on there, he refers to the Fantastic Four back in the 60s.
Sort of. He says, you charted, what are you, the Beatles? I don't think he was fully aware of the Fantastic Four were.
But he said the 60s in it. He did. He mentioned the 60s Fantastic Four. I literally just watched it.
Personally, I don't think it's going to be set in this world because there's too much explaining you have to do around the film. How can we go back to Howard Stark in Endgame and there's no reference to the Fantastic Four? How at any point Nick Fury has never brought up. No, but I'm saying I'm saying in Endgame where he goes back and John Slattery is playing Howard Stark.
Yeah. Okay.
How has no one ever talked about them? I think the easiest thing to do was to put them in an adjacent universe and then have them come over, because if there's a dude flying in the air who's on fire, how has no one talked about that before? If there's a guy who's built like a rubber band and can wrap his arms around anything, if there's a guy made out of rocks, how does no one talk about it? I mean, for God's sakes, I had a problem when Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they have the
Captain America old school.
The Captain America story. I'm like, okay, we've never heard about this before.
But that's why I think this can happen. I think this could happen. And I'm on your side where it's how could this not be brought up? The smartest man in the world, Reed Richards, was never brought up. I understand that. But they knew the Fantastic Four movie was going to come by Multiverse of Madness. We knew that this was coming. Why refer to it? And all those rewrites.
He's from a different universe. That's a Reed Richards from a different universe.
Right. But Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch from the MCU universe said it.
Hello, Stephen. Fantastic Four. Did you guys chart in the 60s?
I need that quote. I don't think he actually knew the Fantastic Four.
I am looking this up real quick just to get the exact quote. But he referred to it, and just the referral itself makes me question it a little bit, or makes me wonder.
Because he said he is a member of the Fantastic Four, smartest man alive, and he said, didn't you chart in the 60s? I thought that's all he said.
Yeah, didn't you chart in the 60s? Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, because I think he's just making fun of the concept of the Fantastic Four. Maybe it means he's heard of it. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's kind of up for interpretation.
I'll back down a little bit. I'll back down a little bit. Maybe he was just making fun of the boy band or whatever vibe. I'll back down a little bit. But again, this is going to be like, again, Fantastic Four Life Story number 1, 2021 comic is also one of these comics that they've mentioned that this movie's based off, and that's after the backdrop of the Cold War and the space race. And don't tell me there can't be some sort of space race astronaut play where they flash forward in time or something with the Fantastic Four. Like there could be something going on. It's a possibility.
I think you could have a lot of cool Easter eggs if you set it in the Earth 616. You could maybe have a Howard Stark appearance. John Slattery comes back into the film. It could be pretty cool. Or, and you know how I talked about Nick Fury has a really strong connection to the Fantastic Four in the comic books. If it's set in an alternate universe, you could have a Nick Fury from the 60s and have someone else than Samuel L. Jackson play the character.
Someone else than Samuel L. Jackson?
It's a different universe. We've seen in this MCU different actors playing the same character in different universes. That would be kind of interesting. Imagine if we had a different Nick Fury, and we've seen the run that Samuel L. Jackson has been on. And what if we just give someone else a crack at it? Like Samuel L. Jackson wants out at this point.
Dude, they gave Nick Fury his own TV show, $250 million budget for Nick Fury TV show just last year, and then they say, you know what? Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury, see you later. We don't care. New one. That is an absurd move if they did that.
I'm just saying for one movie.
But it's a big movie.
Don't you feel like Nick Fury is like tight with the Fantastic Four? I feel like I've seen comic stills with him with the goddamn suit on, you know, with that eye patch, right? If you could cast someone else as Nick Fury, who would you pick?
God, I was just thinking, I don't know, man. You know who I like? I have an option, and he's worked with Samuel Jackson before. Kurt Russell.
Oh man, like what if they de-age Kurt Russell and they honestly, you can't do Wyatt. You know how they played the same character at different ages. You know, in the Monarch series. Yeah, so Kurt Russell, if he was
shout out Scotty Furious, Fast and Furious when he plays Mr. Nobody. Shout out.
Pillskin, Snake, Pillskin type of character, like Escape from New York, put the eye patch. That's why you said it.
He put the eye patch on him again.
That's why you must have said it, dude.
Yes.
I don't know who else it would be. We'll think about it, maybe brainstorm for later. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it'd be interesting. There's too much respect for Samuel L. Jackson and what he's done for it. But I mean, who knows? Who knows? People talk about variant Iron Mans. People have talked about variant Captain Americas. Why can't there be a variant Nick Fury? Okay, I think that's it. I think that's it for the Julia Gardner talk, and that does it for the Drive-Thru, the first ever titled Drive-Thru. And before we sign off, Ricky Flex, I do have to mention, since this will be on YouTube, I did get a haircut today. Right, it's partially why we're having a quick hitter today. We're on a tight schedule. I'm gonna give a reveal right now because I have a beef with the barber.
Oh no.
So I get a 2 on the sides, and then he does scissors up top. And his scissors were a little tight today, right? I went to a new place, and usually I like to keep some of the curls, but instead he kind of cut off everything. So
he did too short.
It's tight. And so I was just driving here to my house to record, and I kept looking at the mirror and just going, yes, drill sergeant. Yes, drill sergeant. I just couldn't help but do that. I'm like, dude, I look like I am like Niedermeyer's cousin from Animal House, dude.
Yes.
I'm just like brutal. Yes, drill sergeant. Okay, that's gonna do it
for the
Drive-Thru. And make sure you guys are staying tuned. No episode this Monday. Ricky Flex and Dr. O will be going to the Natty, UConn, go. Ricky Flex is going tomorrow to the Final Four. Next time we talk to you guys, we're probably going to be discussing Monkey Man. We're doing latest news also from Hollywood. Trailer roundup. We got a massive
Fallout
episode.
Prime Video.
Fallout series. I have a guy.
I have a new guest coming on the pod.
A new correspondent, our video game correspondent. We're gonna get Joey G, the Love Doctor, in here. Very exciting new voice. That's gonna do it. All right. See you guys next time. See you for episode 340.